Okay, now we have here Mr. Double Time Champion, two times champion, Mr. Ian Douglas with two S's. Maybe the two S's is for the two time champ. I don't know. Ian, congratulations! A great race. You nobody could get even closer to you during this weekend. You were one of the favorites. When I saw the practice, I noticed that people are not getting too fast, even because no, I didn't see nobody actually doing 6 1s or even 6 zeros.
Yeah,
And
nobody was.
and for sure, this race was much closer, and which I need to praise the set of rules to have somebody like Braden coming here and doing his practice, putting his time on the track, and coming second, even after messing up the qualifying and coming from all the way behind, means that the cars were very close. So if you put a certain amount of time on the car, you can get a good car, and it's going to be compatible. It's going to be competitive, and you can have a good race. But you, in addition of the perfect car and you great driving, you were ahead of everybody the whole weekend, and this made a lot of difference. So right now, while I have you here, we gonna um, we're gonna break down your car. We're gonna open up your
Okay.
car. So let's do this. So right now, what I have here is Mr. Darkside West on his classic West 1990 something McLaren livery that Ian has been exploring for a long time, and looks great. It's beautiful. This car made concourse, made the final of the concourse. Jay Comadina won, but this was one of the biggest competitor. So right here we have the
He
yellow.
deserved it.
Yeah, he deserved it a lot. Here we have the yellow sticker where he finished the race. I'm gonna remove this guy here, the Electrical Dreams yellow lane sticker. So Ian finished the race in one of the fastest lanes. I believe that you started on white, right?
I started on black.
On black. Okay,
The traditional black start. Yeah.
black started. So you finish on yellow. You start fast and finish fast.
Yes.
There's different strategies because as you guys can notice, the track there's no bridge on the track. So the eastern lanes they are faster, they are shorter and they're faster. So yellow and black they're faster, blue is super fast too, and then when you get to green, white, and red, they become a little slower. And then you have to be patient. So some people like the strategy to start on red and white, and then come up to the fast ones. But Ian decided to do the other way. So he starts fast, starts on black, move to blue, right? And then or green or blue, right? Blue, and then goes red, white, green, three slow ones, and then he comes back to 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 to
Yellow.
to yellow to
Yeah.
finish the race in a fast mode. So he has a chance. If he's a little bit behind, he has a chance to attack.
Exactly.
Yeah. So beautiful paint job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I remember tech. I don't need to wait now, but the body was 18 grams on the spot. So we're gonna start to open this car, and right now I have the wrong tool. Okay, let me get the tool. He's still using the flatheads brass
Body
body
screws.
screws,
Yep.
and they're from who? They're from MSR, Slotted
Yeah.
or Professor Mordor, Scale Auto,
Yep. They're NSR.
the NSR. So here you
Yes.
go. I believe they are 8 millimeter long, and gives you a lot of room to give the kind of body movement that you always want to have on this kind of car. So you can see the front one. So okay, let's pick up the other one. They have a big head. I don't know if Carlos can show this. So the head fills the whole hole of the chassis, so avoiding kind of movement, lateral movement, right here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Last year, I don't know if those were the right screws for this year because the bigger the screw in there, the more grip you get, but the less slide you get. So the car was a little tippy for the main.
Okay.
But I did that for qualifying because the qualifying conditions were really tricky. So,
All right.
um,
So
yeah,
here his beautiful job putting the weight on, has like a lead, very thin lead, and then a golf tape around it. And as you can see, he had to complete the 18 grams with a little piece. I was showing this for them.
yeah,
Yeah. So there's a little piece to start. So the body weighs 18.04 grams. Everything here, all the parts for the Nissan that we need to check. Even the exhaust needs to be present. The body is beautiful and perfect, and it's aligned. It's a very good job here on painting the job on painting the body. Yeah. So if we go to the car, the rules are super are pretty straightforward. There's not much you can do. Of course, there's a lot of preparation on the parts to put it together, but you have a spec tire, a spec wheel, a spec motor. The gear, everybody were about the same. There's a spec pinion, a 10T pinion that you can use this year. Yes, last year was just a 9. This year you could have used 9 and 10. Everything else, it's original. You can use the CH07 guide. The SP45 cables that come with the motor that you buy. As you can see, the motor is sealed. Not only sealed, but it's also numbered. So each driver can take up to 3 motors. They can buy the motors. They get the motors 3 months in advance. And you can prepare the motors the way you want. You cannot open, of course, but you can break in. You can even race if you want to, just to have more mileage on the motors. Those motors are super reliable. They don't burn. So you want to have the brushes going around the commutator as much as you can, so you can get maximum RPM. The other thing is the SP23. You can put those on the chassis here, on the spaces designated for them. So you use 2 weights. Some people try experimenting with 1 weight, 2 weights, 0 weights. Did you try this year, that too?
I tried 1 weight in the front to get the car to rotate better, but the car did not like it, so I just put both back.
To slide a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
As you can see, is using hollow axles. Are you using hollow axles in front too?
Nope, solid axle in front, hollow in the rear.
Okay,
I
why?
was trying to get more weight in front.
More weight in front. Okay, so yeah, you had this chance to use it, but he decided to use solid axles in front. There's a little piece of tape here holding the connectors. Doesn't change much. It's just to hold there, and it maybe doesn't interfere with the body movements. We're gonna talk about tires, but the gear that you have is the GMO 23, right, or 24? Which one are we racing here?
It was a 24.
24. Okay, so everybody was going for the low. For the 23 is the minimum that you can have, and he went to the 24. And this is a modular gear. This is the offset gear too. Have you tried the one that was not offset?
Yeah, I've tried both. The only reason I like the offset gear because you can't see what it is. So if somebody's looking at my car, they can't tell which gear I'm running. But also,
secrets.
I checked it on secrets, exactly. Espionage.
Espionage.
And then I checked it on the power supply, and it drew a little bit less amps. So I thought, that seems good. So
okay.
I just went with it.
Less resistance for the offset. And that's a 24. So this is GMO 24 if you want the part, and you need to buy this collar that comes separate. This car, the code name for this collar is GMF 55. How many washers do you have in between here? This gear, you're not going to be able to see, but you have some washers, so you can limit the space. Maybe Carlos can show here. Mm-hmm. You can limit the space between the motor shaft and the collar and the gear. So the package comes with 3. I think that was something that you asked Mauricio to do to come with 4, because some people use it 4. I don't believe he changed it, but we can reinforce that. But how many did you use here?
He did change it. So
change
the newer ones, yeah, he includes 4, which is super cool. He's been super receptive to all the feedback, which is amazing. I ended up using 3 on the ferrule side and 1 on the gear side.
On the gear side.
Pushing it into the gear.
And it's very important to oil them in between, because if not, they're gonna get stuck. They're gonna make noise and everything else, right? The guide is the normal CH07 guide. There's some light sanding around just to make the edges not that rough. This is a guide that, sorry Mauricio, but doesn't have a very good mold. So there's a lot to fix. There's like pimples and little plastics coming out, especially if you're preparing a car to perfection like this. Let me take a look on the chassis here, how tall it is, if the front wheel is touching. The front wheel touches a little. I don't know if Carl's going to able to see that. It touches like any car after the race. It's a little bent to the right side. Yeah, I don't believe this is on purpose. No, right? So the guide.
It started the race flat, yeah.
Here we have at 0. So if you put down there the guide and you hold it, all the wheels are touching, and you have about 0.7 on front and below the front axles. Of course, they're going to spin perfectly. There's a bushing here, which is something that I was discussing with you and Todd before the race. So there's this bushing. This bushing is the spherical bushing that you can get. I believe that is CH52B or something like that. But if you just go to our website and go and search for Slot.it spherical bushings, they're little bushings in bronze or brass that Slot.it uses for the rear axle. So inside of this pod, you have these bushings, and you can buy the same one. Doesn't come with the original car, but you can buy with the same one and put on this slot here. There's a little slot below the front axle, and if you fit a bushing there, you're gonna have the perfect movement. You don't have there's no wobbling anymore. The bushing fits right there, and then you hold with screws here and here. The way that you find your, just for somebody who doesn't know how to do that, the way that you do this, after you put the bushings in the wheels, you put the top screw until you get the height that you wanted, and then when you finally found this, you put the longer screw, I think is the 6 millimeters on the back, and then you just touch it. So you don't have any movement here or here, and they spin perfectly. But there's a downside to this, and that's something that I'm glad that you're here. We can discuss. Before the race, we were talking about the bushings, and the cars that I made for our gas, I didn't put those little spherical bushings in front because I had a bad experience with a crash. As soon as they crash, because they are super aligned and they get a slot right there, they don't have space to move laterally. Okay, that was fine. That was bad. As soon got there. So as soon as you have this small 1 millimeter movement, the wheels can get stuck. The front of the chassis goes all the way down, and it's hard to get back. So people glue them instead of only put them there. And that was what happened with Todd. And I hope Todd is watching this, and I know that he's going to come after me saying, "No, that was not that." But he crashed on his first. He crashed badly on the first heat of the finals, and his front of the chassis was in a really bad shape. Like he almost didn't. He almost couldn't bring his car back because the braids were out. The car was completely sideways. And then he tried to put battery with his hand. He never got his performance bat, and that he finished in last on the final. But up to there, he had one of the fastest cars on the field. So this is debatable. I think, of course, the performance is better, but it's risky. Happens to Eddie Shore too. Eddie did a great job on his qualifying, and he crashed on the last lap. We went to the floor, and his chassis was broken over there. So it's something that Slot needs to review. And right now, if you want to go with that, with the bushings, glued bushings, you need to think about it because there's a risk there. Do you want to add anything to this?
I mean, I think you're pretty right. I was on Facebook reading the comments on it, and I agree. It could be a little difficult if you hit the floor. There's no room for error. But no. I think that the design is still sound. I think just maybe reinforcing it a little bit before a big race is probably good too. A little CA.
Yeah, that's true. So other than that, we can move to the tires. The tires, they use spec wheels, and those are anodized wheels. And the reason that we have those anodized wheels for that race because they're spec, you cannot change. And then I can see if people sanded the shoulders. Those are the what they call the air system wheels. So last year, some guys discovered that if they lower the shoulders, the wheel could be smaller, and they can find more performance. So for this year, the podium cars, I did a crime. I'm sorry, you're going to see it for the first time.
Oh. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, I'm so sorry. Here, I'm going to show it to you.
That's okay.
There you go.
Tires anyways, yeah.
The Todd's tires? Oh, sorry. So what I did here, I open up, and I can show on the camera here, just to see if the shoulder was sanded or lowered, but they were not. So I have to open all the podium cars. Braden didn't like very much. Jim Rose made a video about it. So yeah, that was the way that we could tech. But I need to tell you one thing that I noticed in your car, and I didn't know that it was Todd's tire. It was much, much, much more difficult to unglue it. Much more. Yeah. There's much more glue on that, and I believe that you guys balanced it too. So good job on the tires. I think the tires for this car is it's the place that you can most try different things. And besides their spec, they're same compound, but you can try different ways to true it. And there's another thing that I want to give credit to Todd that everybody's using now. I don't know how close can you be, but they're not completely polished. They're not completely sleek. They have some sort of texture there. So Todd is putting this texture here on the tire. So somehow you have less contact on the straight lines. You have more power getting out of the curves. And I noticed that most of the racers in the final were using this technique. that he teach too on a video that we're gonna put out soon. We made a video with Todd, touring tires, Todd and Danny Sansom, and I only opened it for the racers. So after the race, now we're gonna put out for everybody to see it. Other,
Awesome.
other than that, 2 screws on the motor, completely unnecessary, but he's all about balance, so you have 2 there. You need to have a screw on those motors, even if you have a Group C car and you're racing at home. You need to put a motor screw there. The motor moves a lot. One more thing, let's talk about the pod balance. I noticed that you have those big ass screws on the front, so you have no much movement there, and you have smaller ones in the back, so you want more movement in the back than in front. They're not
Yeah.
perfect. The right side's moving a little bit more. Maybe that's something that the race brought to you, some sort of a compensation that the plastic gave to you because you raced like almost 500 laps with this car. But can you tell me about the screws that you have in front? Are those NSR too or Scale Auto?
Yeah, those are scale auto screws. They're 2.2 millimeter diameter, like not head size, but like the shoulder size.
Yeah, they're just on the pod. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of I changed those in qualifying because I put new tires on, so I had a little less grip. So I wanted to add a little bit more grip. They probably weren't the right call for the main. I probably should have gone back to the NSR screws to get a little bit more float. But it worked out obviously, so I'm happy.
Yeah, great car. Congratulations again. I hope you come strong again next year. I hope you like the event. I hope you
It
had a
was
blast.
incredible. Oh my God, it was incredible. And Ian and Doug were insane. I just watched some of it yesterday, and it was like, oh my God, this is so good. It's so fun
Yeah.
because you can be there, and now I have the experience of also watching it. So
Yeah.
it's like 2 different.
And
It's amazing.
there's this guy here behind the camera too that we need to praise off.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay.
Sorry.
He did all right,
Yeah,
right?
he did an amazing job on all of that.
Yeah, Mark too with the interviews and everybody who's working on it.
It was
Um,
incredible.
more to come, man. More to come. Ian, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna ship back your car now.
Okay, cool. And I wanted to say if anybody has any comments or questions, they can leave it in the comments below, and I will try to reply to any questions that anyone has.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell Todd to stop giving you tires.
That sounds good.
Good. Thank you.